One thing you talked about there was academic prose, and I'm not super familiar with that. I guess can you give me an example of like how what that is like compared to the kind of prose you're teaching?
Well, first of all the sentences are really long. I mean, we're talking about 2 and 3 lines on a normal sheet of paper. Sometimes quite a lot longer than that. There are many clauses within them. There are many opening dependent phrases, many closing dependent phrases. There's absolutely no sense of rhythm at all, no awareness the language has a pulse that you can pay attention to. There's an anxiety about transition, which is basically every sentence must be carefully coupled to the sentence next to it because what? Somehow the reader will get confused and lose track? I don't know. But profound anxiety about transition, a deep concern, of course, about how you appear in the hierarchy of academic prose, which is am I writing from low down on the totem pole or higher up on the totem pole? There's this anxiety about position that goes with it as well. Very little humor, almost unable to be funny. And when they try to be funny, it's just so pathetic. It's just so sad. No informality ever. It really actually you just feel like, who's here? And it goes from the extreme, and it's a very useful extreme in some ways, of a scientific journal where the format's very fixed, very established, and very purposeful, to the kind of writing that gets done in all sorts of other departments where the feeling is that we need to have our own vocabulary, our own jargon in a certain sense. And in many cases, that's certainly justified because they are naming the world differently from other departments around them. But underlying it all is just this strong sense that unless it's a long sentence, unless it's an involved sentence, it can't be conveying how sophisticated my idea is. And I find that hilarious because actually, how long is a good idea? It doesn't make any sense. So part of the fun for me, the most fun I've had in my classes over the years, I mean, I've had wonderful students of all kinds, but I especially enjoy it when a professor takes my class because they feel terrified that they'll be shown up in some way by all these young people. And it takes them a while to get out of those habits, but it's wonderful to see what happens when they do because all of a sudden you can hear them. You can hear their authentic voice and you can hear their opinions and you can hear what they're saying about the world. And you realize they're noticing really tremendously interesting things, but the language in which they're required to write it is a little stiff. Some of that is almost a matter of house style. For example, at the New York Times editorial page, which I wrote for 16 years, we were not allowed to use contractions. It's like, what? Even the Wall Street Journal editorial page uses contractions. What's that all about? And that's the feeling you get, that there are these conventions that are about how can I seem as authoritative as possible in the nature of my prose. Well, my feeling is that if you sound relaxed, confident, and interested, and you engage the reader, the authority that you generate that way is going to be every bit as profound and probably much more moving in a way than anything you can create by putting on a three-piece suit and a tie.